So you want to build a villa as a vacation rental? First of all, congratulations. It's going to be a nice project and a nice hobby, and I hope you enjoy the journey as well as the result. Now, before you actually go there, there will be a couple of hurdles on the way. I assume you already checked your bank account, your finances, everything. You got the money somewhere parked. You know you can afford it. Of course, that's step one. Then you found an object that you want to build or buy. You've done your market research. You looked at all the area. You like it there. You want to spend some time there yourself. You think it's a good investment to rent out. Ideally, both of these. Up to you. How are your priorities on this? Now, once you've done all that, there's one more big hurdle, and that is actually the contract negotiations. Once you talk to the sales guy and you told him you want to buy it, that's when the trouble starts. At some point, you will probably have to make a down payment in some form, some reservation fee, some deposit, and that gives you the feeling going to be hard to back out after that. And after that, you get the contract, and then you have to review it. And I have to tell you, contracts as I've seen them in Bali are often quite bad. And with bad, I mean non-standardized. They're just coughed up by the developer as he thinks he would want it. They are not standardized. They are not balanced between the developer or the seller and the buyer. So you have to make sure they are balanced and it's something your interests are reflected and you feel good signing it. And that might be a long journey of discussions with your counterparty. So, for example, one of the things that I've seen frequently is the development milestones are just dates, and you have to make partial payments based on dates and not on construction progress. So that's what, of course, developers like, because yes, they have their expenses, their cost based on time and material, so they need the money going in because it must go out. But of course, without the construction progress in line with the plan, you don't want to pay. So you have to negotiate these kind of things. And there are a lot of these similar details. Also, who are your counterparties for the contract? Sometimes leasehold, the land, and the construction is not the same party. And who is the party anyway? Is it a company in Indonesia? Is it a company abroad? Is it a person? Who is it? Will that company be around for the warranty phase still? What's the track record of these guys? Do they have previous customers? Are they happy? Can you talk to them? Can you have an interview? Do they have references? All these things you do want to find out. And that seems a bit over the top, but really it's not. And you need to keep a couple factors in mind. Disputes in the construction business are shockingly common. Some say it's 50% of the cases. I think it's more like 1 out of 3. Nevertheless, that is not negligible. You have to assume that, well, technically you assume or you hope, you believe it will go smooth. Otherwise you wouldn't sign the contract, you wouldn't make the deal. But you also have to be prepared that there will be a dispute, that you might need a lawyer at some point. Worst case, you have to go to court. It's shockingly common, so you have to be prepared for that. And as far as the contract is concerned, later on that might become important. And the question people will ask you is, why did you sign the contract? So always keep in mind, no one is forcing you to sign the contract. No one. Even though you made a deposit already, no one can force you to sign the contract if you're not comfortable with it. And you have to assume later, when the bad things, smelly things hit the fan, people will ask you, why did you sign that? Why did you agree to that in the first place? and you can only blame yourself if you did. So, two things to remember. It's shockingly likely that the paperwork, the contract, will become relevant. Second, no one forces you to sign it. Negotiate until you're comfortable with it. And the third thing I would recommend you, the court system here, the legal system might not be the way you know it from your home country if you're not grown up here. So if there's anything deviating from the plan, I recommend to involve a lawyer as soon as possible, just to align on how to proceed here in your communication. If you act incorrectly, you might waive a lot of these upsides or the guarantees that you have negotiated into the contract in the first place, just by not knowing, by acting incorrectly, thinking, oh, it's written in the contract. But no, by the way you act, you might void a couple of these clauses in the long run. So reach out to a lawyer as soon as something deviates from the schedule or from the budget, or anything starts to get fishy, deviates from the plan. It's actually worth the money. So 3 things to keep in mind as far as the contract is concerned. It's shockingly likely that it will become relevant later, even though everyone is happy and trusts each other and is confident that everything will work out. Second one is, no one forces you to sign the contract. And the third one is, involve a lawyer as soon as things start to deviate from the plan. With all that said, I wish you all the best with your contract negotiations. Be prepared, be willing to walk away at this stage until all your conditions are met and reflected in the paperwork, in the contract. And when that is done, feel free to go ahead. You've done your due diligence and sign the contract, and I wish you all the best with your construction project.